There is a Facebook group with over 71,500 members who use coffee enemas. I've been a member of that group for years now, and a few weeks ago, I asked a question in there that generated one of the most valuable threads I've seen in a long time. The question was simple. What do you wish someone had told you before your very first coffee enema? The response was overwhelming. What came back wasn't science, it wasn't technique, it was hard won practical human wisdom, the kind you only get from actually doing something hundreds of times. Things that nobody puts into a how to guide, things I've never seen in a single YouTube video on this subject. Today, I'm going to share the 10 things the most experienced members of that community most want first timers to know. I'm Scott Wilson, founder of S.A. Wilson's Gold Roast Coffee. We've been making certified organic coffees, especially for coffee enemas, since 1998. Over 45 million enemas worth of coffee sold. And I can tell you, that community knows things. Let's get into it. Number 1, be patient and do not quit after the first one. This is the number one thing long-term members said, almost unanimously. The first coffee enema is a learning experience. That's all it is. Everything is unfamiliar, the setup, what to expect. Your body doesn't know what it's going through and how it's going to feel, whether you're doing it right. There's a learning curve, and that's completely normal. Most experienced members say they didn't really find their rhythm until somewhere around their 5th or 6th session. By that point, the anxiety is gone, the setup is second nature, and they start actually feeling the benefits they came for. If you do your first one and it feels awkward or uncomfortable, or you couldn't hold it long enough, that is not a sign that this isn't working for you. That is exactly what most people experience. The members who stuck with it through the learning curve are the ones who will tell you this changed their life. The ones who quit after session 1 never found out what the session 10 feels like. Give it 6 sessions before you make any judgment. That's what experienced members say, not 1, 6. Number 2, start small and build up. This is not a situation where more is automatically better, especially in the beginning. Start with 16 ounces. That's it. 1 cup of prepared coffee solution. When that feels manageable, move to 20 ounces. Then work towards the 32 ounces, about a quart, over several sessions. Here's what experienced members want you to understand. Even 16 ounces delivers real benefit. The liver detox mechanism, the stimulation of bile flow through the portal circulation, is happening whether you're holding 16 ounces or 32. You do not need to hit the full volume on session 1 to get results. You need to be able to retain it for 12 to 15 minutes. That's the goal. Trying to hold too much volume too soon is one of the most common reasons first-timers have a bad experience and give up. Build up gradually. Your body will adapt. And at whatever volume you can comfortably retain, the process is working. Number 3. This one is important and almost nobody talks about it. If you're coming to coffee enemas because you're dealing with a serious chronic health challenge, and many people do, you may experience what's often called a detox reaction in the first few weeks. Fatigue, headaches, a general feeling of unwellness, a temporary increase in symptoms. This is your body responding to the process that is genuinely mobilizing stored toxins and pushing them through your elimination pathways. It's not a sign the process is harming you. It's often a sign the process is working. Members who came to coffee enemas dealing with significant long-term health challenges consistently report the first month was the hardest, and then something shifted, and they kept going. I'm not telling you to push through something that feels dangerous. Always use common sense and consult your healthcare provider if you have any concerns. But what I am sharing is experienced members' report. Honestly, the difficult early period is real. The other side of it is also real. Don't quit during the hard part. Number 4, use the Red Catheter. This one comes from some of the most experienced long-term members, and it came up consistently enough that it deserves an explanation. Most kits come with a hard plastic tip, and for a lot of people, especially beginners, the hard plastic is uncomfortable enough that it adds anxiety to an already unfamiliar process. The red rubber catheter is soft and flexible. That's it. That's the difference that matters. The comfort improvement is significant. When you're not tensing up around a hard plastic tip, retention is easier. The whole experience is easier. And when the experience is easier, you're far more likely to build up a consistent practice. Multiple long term members independently call this a game changer. If you're struggling with the process and you're still using the hard plastic tip that came with your kit, try the red catheter. It's a small change with a big impact on comfort. Number 5, replenish your electrolytes after every session. Experienced members call this the number one most overlooked step, the single biggest reason people feel terrible after a coffee enema and decide not to do them. Here's what happens. Coffee enemas stimulate bile production and liver detoxification. They also stimulate the colon, and that process depletes potassium and magnesium, two electrolytes that your body needs an adequate supply to function well. If you skip electrolyte replenishment and you feel shaky, fatigued, headachy, or just off after your session, that's not the coffee enema causing a problem. That is an electrolyte deficiency, and it's entirely preventable. Table salt will not fix this. Standard sports drinks are not designed for this. What you need specifically is potassium and magnesium, meaningful amounts of both. These are electrolyte formulated designed for this purpose. Look for ones with high potassium content. Make this part of your protocol from session 1. It's not optional. It's not a nice to have. Experienced members are emphatic about this. Don't skip the electrolytes. Number 6, your body is unique. Don't compare your experience to anyone else's. This is one I'd put first if I were ranking the importance for your mental well-being going into this. Some people feel profound relief within 20 minutes of their first session. Some people feel nothing for several weeks. Some people feel worse before they feel better. Some people feel great immediately and then hit a plateau. Some people have no trouble holding the coffee for 15 minutes from day one. Some people struggle with retention for months. All of these are valid, all of them documented by experienced practitioners and long-term users, and none of them predict whether coffee enemas will ultimately be beneficial for you. The moment you start comparing your experience to someone else's report, or what you read in a testimonial, or what YouTube videos described, you're setting yourself up for unnecessary anxiety and premature quitting. Your liver is not the same as anyone else's liver. Your history, your health, your body composition, your stress levels, your diet, all of it's unique to you. Give your body the time it needs to respond in its own way, on its own timeline. There is no universal timeline. That's the only universal truth about this. Number 7, body temperature only. Test the temperature of prepared coffee on the inside of your wrist before you use it. It should feel like nothing, neither warm nor cool, exactly body temperature. This is not a suggestion. This is the one non-negotiable in terms of safety. Coffee that's too hot can damage the sensitive tissue in the colon. We're not talking about discomfort. We're talking about real injury risk. Do not rush this step. Do not assume it's cool enough because it's been sitting for a while. Test it every time. Coffee that is too cold, and this is the one members mention more often, causes spasms. Your body reacts involuntarily to cold fluid in the colon. The muscles contract, the retention becomes nearly impossible. If you've ever done a coffee enema and felt like you absolutely could not hold it, cold coffee is most likely the explanation. Brew it, let it cool to body temperature, test it on your wrist. If you feel anything, warmth or coolness, wait longer. When you feel nothing, it's ready. Number 8, ring finger to thumb helps retention. Press your ring finger and thumb together firmly on each hand. Hold that pressure. This is the acupuncture point associated with the large intestine meridian. in traditional acupuncture. Multiple members report it significantly reducing the urge to expel before the 15 minutes is complete. If retention is your main struggle, and it is for a lot of first timers, try this. It costs nothing, it requires nothing, and when multiple people arrive at the same discovery without comparing notes, that tells you something. Keep your ring finger and thumb pressed together through the entire retention period. Focus on that pressure. It gives your body something to do and your mind something to focus on other than the urge to expel. Number 9, you don't have to tell anyone about this. Outside opinions, even from people who love you, can shake your confidence and derail your practice before it has had a chance to work. Not because those people mean harm, because coffee enemas are misunderstood. Because the mainstream reaction is often skeptical or even ridiculing. Because someone who hasn't done their research and hasn't experienced the results is not equipped to give you useful feedback on this. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your health decisions. You don't need to defend this to your partner, your friends, or anyone else. If it's working for you, your results will be your evidence, and your results are personal. There is a large active community of people online who understand exactly what you're doing and why. If you need support, seek it from people who have the context to provide it. Protect your healing journey. It's yours. Number 10, make it a ritual, not a chore. The people who have been doing coffee enemas for 5, 10, 20 years share one thing in common. They stopped treating this as something they had to get through and started treating it as something they do for themselves. Put on music you love, have a warm blanket, make the room comfortable. Clear that 15 minutes completely. No phone, no to-do list, no rushing. Let it be the quietest, intentional 15 minutes of your day. The physical process is the same whether you're lying there anxiously and watching the clock or whether you're lying there in a comfortable, relaxed state, but your ability to retain, your body's ability to relax and allow the process to work, and your likelihood of building a consistent long-term practice. All of those are dramatically better when you've made this a ritual. People who treat this as a self-care stay with it. People who treat it as a task to get through often don't. It's that simple. Give yourself the 15 minutes. You've earned it. Those are the 10 things. Every single one of them came from people who had actually been doing this, real experience, reported honestly. If you're using S.A. Wilson's Gold Roast, thank you. If you're not yet, I'd invite you to look at what makes our coffee different from everything else on the market. Certified organic, lab tested for active compounds, specifically developed for enema use in 1998. There's a reason this brand has been the most recommended in the field for nearly 3 decades. Links to our Canadian and US store are in the description below. I'm Scott Wilson. Thank you for watching.